ho! Merry Christmas, everyone! Welcome back to the Average Money Friday episode where we're asking your questions. You guys leave us thought, or you guys ask us something important. We're giving you our thoughts, our opinions. Obviously, this isn't financial advice. We are not financial advisors, but it is fun to have our community, our listeners, join in on the podcast. We get to hear their voices, hear their accents, hear what's going on in their lives. So every single Friday, Brad and I answer a question, and you guys can leave your questions by using the link down below in the show notes. It's Christmas. Obviously, we're not recording on Christmas Day, but Brad, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. This is actually, it's 2:00 in the morning. Santa just came. And then we were like, all right, well, Santa got you up. Now we talked about like, oh man, we shouldn't have done this Friday thing right before Christmas when Christmas and New Year's on a Friday. That's 2 episodes that people are not going to listen to this. But hey, maybe it's mid-January and you finally caught up and you just heard JJ go, oh, I told you to do that. And I didn't think you were actually.
I did it.
Also, too, we have some great voicemails and we enjoy this so much. And it wasn't about not doing it on Christmas or doing it on Christmas. It was like, oh man, we got a lot of voicemails that we need to talk about, and tonight's no different. And as always, we have not discussed our opinions on the voicemail that you're about to hear. So that will all be unscripted, real life. We have listened to it. And JJ, I think it's time. Let's play today's voicemail.
All right, so today's voicemail comes from Andrew.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's going on, JJ and Brad? Quick question for you. So I am definitely super interested in financial independence and whatnot. However, in terms of the retire early part, one thing that worries me a lot is healthcare costs. So for someone that, such as myself, who has a lot of pre-existing conditions and would likely have to pay a good amount in insurance or health insurance, what is the best route to take once you reach, I guess, early retirement, or once you're on your own where you don't have an employer-sponsored health insurance plan? Thanks. Have a great day, guys.
So that's a great question because that's something that's not brought up a lot.
No.
You know, the financial independence movement, it sounds sexy, it's fun, but then when you really got to think about adult choices, this is something that's very important.
And I think, too, for a lot of us that have standard W-2 jobs, you know, that have health insurance benefits during that, like, it's one of those, it comes out of your check before you even know. So a lot of people don't even realize how much they are paying because it's something that comes out right away. So an amazing question, JJ. You want to start it off, or do you want to hear my opinion first? What do you got?
No, I'll take this one first. So it works out well for me for a couple reasons, but there's also some differences which I'll get into. So I basically just went through this issue. I came from a W-2 job. Now I'm self-employed. My wife doesn't work enough to be able to earn benefits at her job. So we knew with me taking this plunge of working for myself that we were going to have to self-fund our medical expenses, our medical insurance. So I did a shit ton of research on this, trying to figure out the best way for a self-employed individual and his family to pay for. And I was expecting to pay a lot, which I actually ended up finding a route that was relatively cheap. Now, what I did was I used MediShare. So basically what MediShare is, it's not insurance. It's a sharing company, and it's Christian-based. So you pay in a certain agreed upon amount, and then you kind of have what's called it's not called a deductible because it can't be, because it's not insurance, but you have a certain like annual household maximum that you have to like front yourself. So for example, mine's $6,000. So I have to cover up to $6,000 of medical bills on an annual basis myself. Brad, you have a question?
Is this similar to what we hear with Dave Ramsey, the Christian Mingle? Or no, that's a dating app.
What?
What is Dave Ramsey? That's a dating app. Christian Mingle. No, Dave Ramsey. I'm sorry. I've had a couple cocktails. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. Dave Ramsey has something like this. When I used to listen to his podcast, it was one of the commercials. And it was a Christian ministry health insurance program. No?
I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm not sure.
All right,
I would guess so, but I don't know.
Okay.
But basically how it works is you put in a set amount of money per month, and then you get technically, I can't, it's there's like legal.
Christian Mingle. Like,
I'm still thrown off about that too.
no, I'm going to go back and listen to one of his podcasts
Okay.
because one of his major things that he's sponsored by, and it was similar to what you're saying. Continue. Go on. Tell me exactly what it's, because it sounds very similar to what I think.
Yeah, so you pay like, I'll just tell you our numbers. We pay like $540 a month for a family of 4, and then we have to pay up to $6,000 in our own medical bills. Now there's co-pays and stuff figured into this, so it's not like you have to go pay a out of pocket office visit. So that's the good part. Here's the bad part about MediShare and someone with like Andrew's case where there's been pre-existing conditions. Luckily, we didn't have anything like that. So with MediShare, the problem with pre-existing conditions is they do not cover anything related to your pre-existing conditions until you've been with MediShare for up at least 36 months. So if you wanted to join MediShare and pay, because it's a lot less, let's be honest, it is a lot less per month of an expense using it this way than it is to have like a marketplace plan like Obamacare or something like that. I mean, it's the truth. And from all the research I've done, that's what I've noticed. Now, with a pre-existing condition, this is something you have to think about is, would you be willing to like pay into MediShare and then also have marketplace insurance to cover your pre-existing conditions for the 36 months? And then once those 36 months come up, now you get to pay a lot less in insurance because you're able to get your pre-existing conditions covered through MediShare. So that's something you could think about. Kind of have to rough it out and pay extra for 3 months, and to be able to get the lower amount 3 years to get the lower amount 3 years down the road. So that's one way you could think of it.
So I just Googled it because I just said Christian Mingle or whatever. It's Christian Healthcare Ministries is what Dave Ramsey talks about. And it's very similar. And I'm curious too, because we'll get to my position on this, but what's plan B? Like, I think when I talk to all my buddies that don't have a W-2 health insurance, they always talked about like the Obamacare, and not to get political, but like, do you know what Obamacare is? Or like, what's the plan B? And also too, I'll tell you my current and what I plan to do with medical insurance, but like, what was your plan B if you didn't go this, essentially crowdfunding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just be go to the regular marketplace and buy it from like United Healthcare or something like that, and using Obamacare. So my understanding with Obamacare is it's basically like a law that you go buy Obamacare through like Obamacare.gov or whatever it is, but it's a law stating that the market or the insurance companies like can't deny you if you have pre-existing conditions.
And what does it cost? You said you're paying about $500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So let's call that $6,000 a year. What's the alternative? Like, what's expensive? I'm just asking because I have no idea. Because to tell you what I pay, I'm curious, like what's like for a family.
So it's very difficult to say that because one, that was like 6 months ago when I was researching, but two, there were so many different plans available. Like, I mean, you could have one that cost $4,000 a month, or you could have one that costs you $1,000 a month on the regular marketplace. It's all about what you want to pay for, Right. So like if you're relatively healthy and you don't go to the doctor at all, and you really just need it in case like you have something crazy happen medically, then you just go with the cheaper plan, and then you have a higher out of pocket max, and you get covered for less stuff. Maybe your prescriptions are a little higher, but it's the risk you take of planning on being healthy for a longer period of time, to where if you have pre-existing conditions, it's going to cost a little more.
Yeah, like I think Andrew puts something into perspective for me.
Absolutely.
This is something I've never had to think about, even in my current state. And I think about all my buddies that don't have real jobs, and it's almost kind of crazy. So here's essentially my current health insurance situation. As teachers, I have the opportunity to get very, very good health insurance. Now, I was paying a little over $12,000 a year. I was paying like 13 and change. And so was my wife. When my kid, and to go family plan, it wasn't worth it before I had kids. When I had kids, we had to go up to the family plan But now here's the ridiculous situation that's going on right now. In my job, if you don't use the health insurance at my job, you get a buyback. I don't know how that works. I assume that they're paying per person, and if you don't take it, the district's probably making some money and you get some money. I don't know how that works. But because I did the family insurance program for a year, I get family buyback for life. So my wife, she now carries our insurance. It's $12,000 a year, and my buyback is like $12,000 a year. So currently, right now, we take that buyback. I'm a wash. Now, in the future, to answer Andrew's question, with the way that our pensions are set up, this is something that I've never had to think about because my health insurance is going to be paid for even in retirement. Now, if I left my job today, would that be different? Yes, but if I left my job today, like I said, we're under my wife's. Everyone's like, you can't go YouTube full time. I'm like, well, the Bennies is the only reason why. My wife carries that, and she's 9 years younger than me, so she'll hang out and do what she has to do. But Andrew, I'm going to be honest, man. I've never even, it's come up at the water cooler. Somebody's married to somebody that's not in a pension program or something like that. Or even people have asked me your exact same question, and I didn't have the answer because my whole thing is there's a small piece of me that was like, wait, when you retire, your previous employer doesn't just pay for your insurance for the rest of your life? But, and JJ, you can kind of follow up on this. The answer that I always gave people is that certain things in life cost money, and certain things in life cost money that you just can't justify in your brain. Like your transmission blows and you go to the mechanic and he's like, oh, that's going to be $10,000. And you're like, how is that humanly possible? You know, but if you were in that industry, you'd be like, oh, $10,000, that guy gave you a deal. Another thing is like daycare. If you would have told me 3 years ago that daycare was going to cost me $30,000 a year, I would have laughed in your face, and I might have thought about having kids or not having kids. I just realized there's these certain costs in life that you just have to factor into your budget and your FI number. And it's as simple as that to me. If you know that in retirement you're probably going to have to pay $30,000 a year for insurance, and that's a tough pill to swallow, then that's a tough pill to swallow. If you want to have kids and you don't have somebody to watch those kids, or you want them to go to, accelerated daycare so they're learning more, you have to factor in the fact that you're going to have to pay $30,000 a year until they go to first grade. So I guess like my overall arching opinion on this is, if it's going to be an expense, you can at least research it. And JJ, you can tell me, I don't know how often it changes, but you can at least research about how much it's going to cost you. And then that just needs to be part of your FI number, just like a mortgage or just any other expense that sucks.
I literally just wrote that down. It says research what it will cost, because I wanted to touch on that for how important it is. Like, let's say you're 4 or 5 years out from FI, right? And you plan on fully being financially independent and being on your own. And what you could do, or what I would do, like obviously things could change big time in 4 years, especially in the insurance world, but you could at least call and start doing the research early, and then that way you can figure out roughly what it may be. So you tell the insurance company, hey, let's say you're 30 years old, right? But you're going to be financially independent in 4 years. So now you tell the insurance company, I'm 34-year-old male. So you give them the details that would be when you actually go to pay for it, and then get an idea of what it's going to cost you. Let them know your pre-existing conditions. That way, like Brad said, you can have that budgeted, and you have it accounted for, because there are things in life that just are going to cost more money.
Yeah.
It may take you an extra year or two to be able to cover that or more, but it's just one of those things that you kind of have to understand and plan for it, and then you can make it happen.
I will say this, though. Don't not plan for it to try and save money. Like, you should be insured.
Yeah, 100%.
My buddy's been walking around with a torn meniscus for 10 years because he refuses to pay for insurance. So factor it in. I think it's a crappy expense, man. It is. And is it expensive? Maybe. Could you go to Canada and get national health care? Yeah, go to Canada, bro. Like, that's really all I can say. But Andrew, your question is legit, and there are many people, and this is actually a great one. I think that we can use our community in the Facebook group for.
Yes.
I think this is a great opportunity for somebody that maybe is self-employed, somebody that has a family, somebody that has pre-existing conditions. Like, please help us. Like I said, a school teacher that's retiring with insurance, and JJ, who has chose his route for now, help give us value and help us give value to the people listening. I beg you, like, go to the Facebook page and drop a link or drop something for anybody to research. Like, even if you wrote like family of 4 living in California, here's a link. Even if you don't want to preach your position, like, you know, like single, me and my cat, and then like somebody's going to be single with a cat and want to click that link.
No, that's a great point. I'm glad you said that, Brad, because it's so true. Like, even if it's somebody in the healthcare, insurance space, they may have, that's what's so great about building a community like this is we all can help each other. And I think that really does go a long way. Well, that locks it in, Brad. I mean, that was pretty solid. A great question from Andrew. Now, I haven't been reading the reviews on the Friday episodes, but I want to read one.
And we just had a guest, so we couldn't.
True.
Yeah, we did. Okay, go.
So this one comes from Big Ball Boy 2887. Love the name.
What? Big Ball Boy?
Big Ball Boy, baby.
That probably has some like regular meaning. He's like, I sell basketballs.
Yeah.
What up, man? Big Ball.
He left in a kick-ass comment. So the title is just.
Is he the one that left
$?
$?
Yes.
I saw you.
Yep. So it says, nothing like a New Yorker and a country dude just talking money and finance in an entertaining and graspable way. Highly recommend this podcast. It's so true, though.
Can you say it right? Can you say New Yorker?
Okay. Nothing like a New Yorker and a country dude.
A New Yorker.
New Yorker from New York.
All right, JJ, take us out of here. Andrew, thanks so much for the question. JJ, take us home on this Merry Christmas, guys. I'll say before the holidays, whether you're celebrating Christmas or you have your own holiday, I hope you had a good one. We're locking out the year. We all had a good run this year, and we got through it. Yeah. On to the next one, JJ. Take us on to the next one.
Yep. I mean, Brad nailed it, guys. Like, one, if you're listening on Christmas, let us know, because you're the real one. I will say that if you download the podcast and listen on Christmas Day, please let us know, because you are the real one.
Yeah.
So, guys, we really do appreciate every single one of you who listen. The guys who leave the voicemails, the people listening behind, everything. It really does mean the world to us. And also, guys, with this being Christmas, Brad kind of mentioned the year we had with 2020. I mean, it's been crazy. I'm sure some of you listening, me included, Brad probably too, that we've lost some people due to this year because of things that we never would have thought of happened. We hope to end this year on a good one. Look forward to 2021. Hopefully it's a lot better. And guys, with all that being said, I do want to say one more time, thank you all so much for watching. And until the next one, you all take care.